It's a paradox. There's a paradoxical concept here that if you want it, you have to not want it. And how do you do that? Well, let's look at the idea of results. There's a part of us that wants to control the outcome, right? I've worked so hard to get to where I am. I deserve that promotion. I have peppered her with flowers and chocolates. There's no way she's not going to love me. I have raised my kid to the best of my ability. There's no way that he's, fallen into the wrong crowd or something like that. So we hold on to these attachments, and when we want that outcome so much, that attachment that we're holding on to starts causing anxiety in us because it's not going to go the way that we want it to go, because life doesn't, because we're not in control. By the way, the last video that I just made was all about how you're not in control. And when you let go, you actually find freedom. When you allow life to do what it's going to do, and you bring yourself back into your frame, you bring yourself back into who you are and who you want to be, and allow life to do what it does, there's more freedom to that. Now, the truth is, we are eternal beings. There's no way around that, okay? It's 100% backed up through, let's just say, science. It just is, right? You can't create nor destroy energy, something to that effect. So we are these eternal beings having what is called a human experience, captured by time, captured by space, captured by attachment, right? The more we're attached to something, the more we're setting ourselves up to feel the pain of not having that something. And so in order to get what you actually want out of life, you have to influence it the best you can, but bring yourself back to yourself. Bring all your energy and your focus back to yourself, saying whatever happens, happens. You have to surrender. You have to quit holding on. Just let go, right? You have to let go of what you want. It doesn't mean to not go after what you want. It doesn't mean that you won't get what you want. But what it means is that when you don't get what you want, you're not going to be full of frustration and anger, right? Life is happening. Here's a quote that I want to read. I thought it was a very interesting quote. Being open to what is happening rather than trying to control how things unfold, you experience the excitement, adventure, exhilaration, and the mystery of life. It hurts. It hurts sometimes. Sometimes life's not going the way you want it to go. Sometimes life isn't the way you want it to be. You're not where you want to be. You're not in the job you want. You're not with the person you want. Your kids aren't doing what you want them to do. You don't look the way you want. You don't feel the way you want. The problem with attaching to things is we lose the sense that true happiness comes from within. And so when we forget that, we start looking for happiness outside of ourselves. That's when we get the newest iPhone and the newest car and the newest clothes and all that stuff, which makes you happy. It definitely does. It makes you happy for a good, solid week, maybe. And when it starts to wear off, you have to continuously chase and continuously chase, because the flesh just wants. It wants that gluttony and that lustfulness, and that's what it wants. So that's what it does. That's where it goes. And so detaching and surrendering to the divine, surrendering to the unknown and to the mystery of life. I'm not saying it's easy. That's not what I'm saying. But things worth working for, or things worth having, are not easy. Right? Something like that. I don't know. It's close enough. You get what I'm trying to say. So just let go. Influence life to the best of your ability. Influence your friends, influence your spouse, your kids, influence your job, influence yourself. I made a whole video on this idea of brainwashing yourself. every day to become the person that you want to become, because if you don't, someone else will brainwash you. You need to be influencing, but it all comes back to we are human beings, not human doings. We are not attached to what is happening. We're not attached to, or we shouldn't even identify with the results of what happens, because that's not always a direct reflection of who we are. We're human beings. So be the person that you want to be. Work on becoming the person that you want to be. And then eventually your life becomes a reflection of who you are. And so then the things you have in your life, even right now, the things that you have in your life right now, they are a reflection of your beliefs and thoughts in childhood, being raised a certain way and acting a certain way. It's a reflection of it. The law of attraction isn't really real. It's the law of reflection. Your environment is a reflection of your beliefs and behaviors and thoughts, which is also a reflection of your true identity. Well, maybe not your true identity, but what you believe your identity should be, or whatever it is now, that's a reflection of it. So that makes sense. I hope so. Makes sense to me. That's why I'm saying it. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay. Let go. Let go. Allow the mystery of life to take its toll. And as it's happening, instead of thinking, this sucks, this is not what I want, this is exciting. Let's take kids just for a moment. Let's just take kids for a moment. People say that it all starts in the home. And to some degree, that's true, but not all of it. Your kids are going to do things that you disagree with. Your kids eventually around teenage years, because that conscious, rational, logical brain starts developing to the point where they're like, oh, wow, I'm not my parents. I am my own self. So then they go out and they try things and they see things and hear things and say things that you don't want them to say. And then people are like, well, it comes down to bad parenting. Those people never had kids. The people are saying that, by the way, or their kids are still young and they don't know what it's like to have teenagers, right? Or they don't understand, whatever. I'm not going to go into, whoa, hey, watch out now. But letting go, not letting go of the influence. You continuously love them and you influence and you want them to be the way that they're going to be. Let's turn this just a little bit. Muchas gracias, por favor. Much thanks, please. Doesn't make any sense. But you hold on to the influence and all that stuff. But when you have hopes and dreams of what they're going to accomplish in your life, you will be let down. And when you're let down, the only person to blame is yourself. And if you go and you start blaming them, then they start resenting you. You see what I mean by detaching, letting go of the results, because you're not in control. So let them own their stuff and you own your stuff, even though you're responsible to it up to the age of 18 to a degree. If they're getting detentions, well, then natural consequence. If they're failing out of school, you need to influence them, get them as much help as you can. The truth is, your kid could drop on the floor today and not move the rest of their life because they choose to, and there's not a thing you could do. You could put them in a bed, you could force feed them, keep them up, but they could just stop, because we all have this thing called free will. And that's a whole nother, the free will. If 95% of your behaviors come from a subconscious program, do you really have free will? Or maybe you do have free will, but not until you understand yourself, not until you know who you are. Challenge of the day, whatever. Let me know what you think. Please leave a comment. I would like to hear your thoughts on this concept that's paradoxical. Hit that like button if you liked it. If not, don't. Please don't hit the dislike button. Who does that? Until next time, my friends. Until next time.